Well, we've heard the president's call for the U.S. to out-innovate other nations, but how are CEOs, the heads of these companies, not necessarily the Fortune 500 companies, but all of those smaller companies, how are they feeling right now, and are they ready to hire and innovate? Dave Maney is a member of the Young Presidents Organization. It's a group of 17,000 young CEOs from across industries. Dave, thank you for being here, and you really do have the pulse of how these executives, not just here in the U.S., but in Asia, et cetera, are feeling. What are you seeing?
Well, we see some increasing optimism, but the optimism is expressing itself differently. What YPO companies are is not Wall Street, and it's not Fortune 500, as you said. It's also not the mom-and-pop pizza shop. We're the guys in the industrial park.
Right.
We're the guys with, on average, 100 to 500 employees. So it's where innovation happens, and it's where economic growth happens, where employment growth happens.
You just came out with your Global Pulse CEO Confidence Index, and it's better than it was a year ago. But looking at Asia and looking at the United States and comparing the two and the growth in the two, you say there's a difference in how they're planning to grow.
If you look at our Asian members, they're tending to believe that sales are going up more than 10%. About half of them believe that sales are going up more than 10% in the coming year. Same thing in the U.S. The confidence levels are very close. The Asian members say they're going to grow by hiring people. Many more of our U.S. and Canadian members say they're going to grow by investing, by becoming more productive.
An executive I was speaking with this week said there is just no way, no how that we will get to pre-recession level hiring. We don't need it, period.
What we're doing in the U.S. economy, in my opinion, and what's borne out by our numbers, is a very good thing. We're investing in technology. We've got remarkably cheap internet tools that help us do things that before took legions of people. That's a good thing. If you're a high-skill worker, if you can connect the dots, you're in great shape. If you're a low-skill worker, you're being left behind. And our trick in this country, and what our numbers say, is we've got to figure out not how to slow the innovation and stop losing those manual jobs.
Right.
It's how do we move the skill levels up the lever.
When it comes to these executives, these CEOs, what are their top concerns, Dave, just across the board for young executives these days that run these companies?
I would say that they are. There's a lot of questions about with our U.S. membership. There are real questions about the cost of people and the flexibility of people. So they're tending to need to. What they look at is moving lower skilled positions overseas. It's very easy to do business. We're a worldwide network of CEOs.
What are they saying about the administration's policies?
Here's what I think. I think if you look at our members as a group, they tend to be, they're younger, right? Everybody's under 50. We kick you out when you turn 50. So they tend to be more optimistic. They tend to be more collaborative and participative, less top down. They want to help those people. They're not kind of I think it was very hard for people to hear that rhetoric that said, you're a successful business guy, therefore you're a bad man or you're a bad woman.
For these young CEOs, how has their job changed, would you say, from today, 2011, to a decade ago or 20 years ago or so? Has it become more challenging?
It's become more focused. Companies in the U.S. in particular have become vastly less vertically integrated, so they're doing fewer functions, and they have to be much better at their job and taking technology tools that exist out there and becoming very, very good at one thing, because it's so easy for people to find competitors anywhere in the world. You have to be the very best at what you do, so defining a niche and becoming very focused. It's much less about I've got to manage thousands of people. It's much more about I have to know my market, I have to know technology, I have to know how to do business globally.
These companies, these smaller companies, we may not know their names, but they are the driver of hiring in this country. We have heard Fed Chief Bernanke say time and time again, it will be years before we see unemployment get back to 4 or 5%. And that seems to be the consensus with business leaders that I speak with. What do you see ahead? How many years do we have this jobs pain?
Well, we have it for a while. One thing that I think that I have seen happening is, there's a read by the broad media that says people dropping out of the workforce is a terrible thing. They must be depressed and sitting at home in the bathtub with nothing to do. What I see is there's a giant, what amounts to kind of free agent / freelance economy that uses the internet as a platform to do business with companies around the world, sometimes on an individual basis. And I think more and more people are moving into that kind of free agent economy, and it's very tough for our labor department to capture those moves. So I think in that way things are better than the numbers may show.